Greetings, fellow travelers. Welcome on in to level 126 of the RPG Cave. I'm one of your hosts, the level 199 Dark Lord Ryan Turford, and I am joined, as always, by the level 199 Battle Alchemist, Dr. Garret Bland. How's it going, Garret?
Doing good, man. We are not sponsored or powered by Steam Deck no longer on this recording. I got my laptop back. The screen is replaced. I want to thank Fiona, my wife, bringing it back to China and replacing the screen. That was the only reason she went back to China, not because of all the celebrations going over there.
Of course not. Why
The
buy an
Chinese
expensive plane ticket to go to China for anything else? Right?
exactly to replace a screen, a little slightly cheaper. So it's nice to have it back. And now I'm recording on this, so that's my one thing. Second thing, I go through three things now. That's as
Of
tradition
course.
dictates. Okay. Second thing, I'm sure we'll talk about it later. Unicorn Overlord demo. I played it on
Hold on.
Switch.
Put a pin in that. We're going to talk
I'll put
about
a pin
that
in
in a
that.
second.
Sounds good. Third thing, what's my third thing? Oh, nice weather. It's very nice weather in San Francisco right now.
Nice.
Pretty warm.
I mean, if it makes you feel better, it's a crisp 36 degrees Fahrenheit here in Toronto, Ontario, Canada.
I was thinking, it was like 36 degrees Celsius. Like, that ain't crisp.
No.
That's bacon.
No. I was actually, not so bad today. I wore my toque outside today, Garret, and I was like, I didn't even really need to wear this. I could have just wore a hat instead.
Just a hat.
You probably don't even know what a toque is.
Probably not. If you showed me, I probably would know what it is. Maybe.
Well, it's basically a beanie, but it's the same thing. Like it's a little hot, warm.
Is it like a baggier beanie? Is that
no? So a toque, we don't call beanies beanies. We call them toques because we're Canada. That's how we do things.
Why?
I mean, it's the same reason why y'all call like pop soda or Coke, but we call it pop.
It's Coke. It's nothing else. It's like, what kind of Coke do you want? I want a Pepsi. I want a Sprite. Like, that's I don't know. That's colloquial, I guess.
It's just like, when you run out of Pepsi and you want to call Pepsi Man to come in here and then do this and then generate Pepsi, you will then say what kind of Coke you want to Pepsi Man.
No. I'm good. I saw, Matt, messaging in Discord. It's like, here's my locally made pop. I'm like, who says pop? Like, that's really alien for me. Like, soda, Coke, that's fine. But when you get to pop, it's out of the door for me.
Oh my God, Garret. When I was visiting Texas and I didn't know the lingo, our family decided to go to the Golden Corral. Golden Corral, you might be familiar with. It's like a buffet restaurant.
Yes.
And they, of course, were asking what kind of beverages we wanted. And I said, I would love an orange pop. And the lady at the counter gave me this look. Like, she's like, what planet are you from? And why are you here? So,
yeah, dude, it's like forbidden to say the word pop in Texas. I don't know. It's just really a thing, and specifically in that state, you just no outsiders basically can come in.
That is kind of how that works.
Also, I
love the fact that in chat we've got like Goo Goo Dolls talk with City of Angels coming up. Of course, the hit movie City of Angels with Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan. Of course, Nicolas Cage, also the star of the critically acclaimed movie Vampire's Kiss, Garret, which of course has the famous alphabet scene, which we actually talked about during the PlayStation Drive post show. Despite the fact that we don't do a post show on that show, we just sometimes we just hang out for an hour and talk.
I only know Nicolas Cage from Ghost Rider and National Treasure. Those are the two movies.
I feel like I need to fix this. I feel like I need, after the show's over, Garret, I'm going to send you some choice Nicolas Cage clips that I feel like you need to see.
Clips as in like movies, like full on movies?
No. Just clips.
Just clips. Okay.
Maybe you need to find out some more about The Wicker Man. Maybe you need to find out more about Vampire's Kiss. Maybe you need to learn about Con Air. I feel like all these are the type of thing. Also, Sean's freaking out in chat.
He's freaking out.
There's a lot of really good Nicolas Cage movies.
I just infuriated probably a lot of people about that. But yeah, those are like literally the two movies. I know he's been in a lot of movies, and he has that latest one just about himself, that's just so good. It's just so meta. Has a ton of famous actors. I want to watch it sometime. But
my favorite, but for the audience at home, my favorite Nicolas Cage movie is Snake Eyes. I actually really like that movie. So
cool.
But anyways, we're like 6 minutes. We haven't even started talking about role-playing games. So let's clear
that's fine.
Of these pesky mobs so we can get to the conversation as quickly as possible. So folks at home, if you want to support the show, there's a number of awesome ways to do that. Number one, if you're watching the live stream right now over at youtube.com/carpoolgaming, or if you're watching the video on demand later, don't forget to hit that like button, slightly tap that subscribe button, and let us know in the comments below what you think about the current state of Xbox role-playing games are. We would love to hear from you in the comments below. Also, if you're listening on audio feeds, don't forget to rate us there. Maybe, leave us a nice Apple Podcast review, a Spotify comment, or the most important thing, hitting that subscribe button there as well to make sure, of course, that the show gets in the algorithm and more people come and hang out with us in this cave. Because, there are some bats here, Garret, and I'm like, maybe if there were more people here, the bats would go move somewhere else. Maybe that's a thing.
What did you just say about bats and poop?
No, bats are hanging out. They're hanging out in the cave with us because we're in a cave.
Oh, I thought you literally meant in your room. I'm like,
but
that totally went by me.
Now that you mention it, Garret. No,
yeah,
I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
Okay.
But by the way, that hasn't happened yet because I'm in a new apartment, Garret. Because if you're watching the video version, it's all new. Like this is the figures aren't behind me.
I see your PS5. I see your PSVR 2.
I have a PSVR 2
ready to be hooked up to a PC.
I got my Dreamcast down there. I've got my Sega Saturn down there. In fact, like the whole shelf right now is just old consoles. In fact, I might be moving the position around a little bit here so we can maybe get like that shelf more in the background a little.
Yeah, that'd be cool.
Yeah, exactly. But continuing on my spree of cleaning the dungeon. Of course, so if you want one big podcast feed with the entire Carpool Gaming cinematic universe on it, head on over to our Patreon, patreon.com/carpool gaming. Just like our newest patrons, who of course I made sure to get before the show, despite the fact that I'm going to go grab them right now. Daryl Erdman, I hope I pronounced that correctly, Daryl, for jumping in on that 7-day free trial for the exclusive tier. Thank you so much for joining up there. And also Josh Coltier, who once last week, Garret, was a free trial member, now officially an exclusive tier member. So huge shout out to our 2 brand new patrons, as well as all of our patrons. Y'all rock. We'll also be thanking you later in the show. Also, we've got a website, carpoolgaming.com, where you can get all kinds of cool merch, like the shirt that Garrett's wearing, or at least at one point you could have gotten that shirt. But we have also other shirts, like an RPG Cave t-shirt, as well as other shirts. Last order of housekeeping, Garret. We made an announcement tonight that we are changing our podcast publishing times. So
got it.
First of all, YouTube, there's going to be no change. We're still going to be here every Monday evening at 11 p.m. Eastern Standard Time or Daylight Time, whatever you prefer. That's going to be unchanged. If you're listening on audio feeds, however, there are slight changes. Number one, patrons will have access to the show now starting Tuesday morning or Tuesday mornings at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. And then free feeds will gain access the following day on Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. The main reason we went ahead and did this, just for full transparency's sake, is we received a lot of feedback from people that all of our shows released very similarly, like on top of each other, because there's so much carpool gaming content that like there'd be 3 or 4 things coming out at the same time, and other days where there'd just be nothing. So we changed the schedule around a little bit to make sure more consistent. There's more breathing room for some of this stuff. Also, we do want to reward our patrons who do support us at even just at the $1 tier, which is, early access tier. Yeah. So we do want to give them, an extra 24-hour notice instead of literally sometimes me posting the show at 2 or 3 in the morning after I edit it late at night. And then that's when, and you basically get it early for like 8 hours. If you're,
I see that Ribobot and I'm like, dude, this is so late.
Yeah. So that's why we did this change. So I do apologize if this, changes y'all's schedule a little bit. But trust me, this will be a really good thing in the long run with all the carpool gaming content. So just want to make sure that that's all out there as well. We also posted our full times for all the shows in the Discord. So if you're part of the Discord, head on over there. There's a post about that there. Or we'll be mentioning on every single show this week. And the description of this podcast will also have that information in it as well. Well, without further ado, Garrett, we're not reading from the sacred texts, huh? See what
Not
I
yet.
did there? Because we got to go on a little side quest, Garrett. Side quest. Because Unicorn Overlord's demo came out this week.
It did.
Garrett. I don't know if you heard the PlayStation Drive this week, Garrett, but I played the Unicorn Overlord demo right before the PlayStation Drive, and I was just like, oh my God, I have to talk about this. Yeah, they say I'm hyped about it as a little bit thing. But first of all, you mentioned you also played the demo.
I did.
So I thought we'd take like a quick second just to talk about it. So
sure.
What did you think about the demo, and how far did you get into it? Because I didn't play through the whole thing. But I'm curious to know what you did. Yeah.
Yeah. So this demo is like the first 7 or 8 hours of this game, and it carries over. So just play what you want, and then I kind of just paused and like, okay, I'll just wait till the full game.
It lets you save wherever, which is nice. So and wherever your save is, it just brings it over from there.
Yeah, exactly. So what I played is like the beginning, opening, intro type of scene, plus some tutorial with the overworld town management and how to expand your borders or whatever. But yeah, I played the demo. It's very unique for sure. I actually didn't kind of expect this, to be honest with you. It feels like more of a I wouldn't even say fire emblem. It's more automatic than that, because you kind of just going towards like in battles, you're kind of like real time going towards enemies. Sometimes that there's some placement with other enemies, and there's different pacings with different movements with different units or whatever. And then once you do a head-on one-on-one, you have a choice with you can like switch between other units within your radius, or you could just keep on attacking with your original. I think that's cool. I think also the customization of each unit. And let's say a unit can be many things. A unit can be just one person, or like 3 or 4 people in there, just depending on what you want to put in that unit, which is really cool. I thought it was going to be a little bit more tactical than this, like more movement based, like turn based, but it's definitely not that. It's more like, here's your formation, here's a real-time strategy kind of motion going through the game. So overall, really good. I enjoyed what I played.
What I found from where I got, because I think I got a little bit farther than you, was I feel like the tactics really come out in like the unit placement in your formation.
Yes.
And making sure like you've got specific units in your formation, and then how they're positioned really plays into that, especially because like if you don't have a mounted cavalry unit in your formation, your formation moves very slowly across the map, especially if you've got like just mostly defenders and stuff like that in some of your formations. So like that really comes into play in certain maps where the maps are really huge. Like I did one side quest where you're kind of rescuing this archer, and you're freeing this town of these bandits, and like there's a giant area you have to cross. And if you don't plan accordingly, it's like very difficult to kind of get through there. But so I found that not only that too, but like certain units, like for example, units with spears can attack like in a line through the line in the formation. So like you have to make sure to like stack your units in such a way where they're not, maybe you have like one per row if you're coming up against like a unit with like a spear or something like that. So yeah, I felt like there's a lot of tactical planning that goes into it before like each like combat happens, and then the combat itself is automatic.
So a lot with position, a lot with formations and units, which I thought was pretty cool. A little bit to do with like how to like approach the enemy or the enemy base or the enemy post, which is pretty cool as well. I think the other side of things was pretty interesting is the overworld itself. Not the battling, but the quests, the scavenging, how to build out the settlements is pretty deep. You kind of need to upgrade villages in order to get more weapons and armor. You can go over to the fort and like do mock battles or whatever. I thought that was pretty cool. And it's same hand-drawn art style that we know and love coming from them. So yeah, from Vanillaware. Overall, I really enjoyed it. I don't think I'll be there day one just because I just have other games I want to get to first.
Mhm.
And this seems like a way in like, okay, I'll probably get it on a sale. And also I played it on Switch, and on Switch it runs perfect. I'm like,
Nice.
I don't need the Steam Deck. I don't need anything else. Like I would play it on the Switch because of OLED, and it works great on there. So I would
Nice.
probably get on Switch if I do happen to get there later. So later this year, I think. But yeah.
Nice. So first off, I'm gonna go to the chat real quick. First off,
Yeah.
after the show on Saturday, or Churder Day, or however you say that.
My
I don't
goodness.
know what Saturday's all about.
Chatterday?
We got Fulia. Fulia is kind of all in. Of course, Fulia's been playing the demo. She's about 2.5
Queen RPG
hours
right
in.
here. Yeah. RPG Queen.
Yep. She says she's glad that there's difficult options since she's never played a role-playing game before, or of this type.
Oh,
'Cause
okay.
Fulia played Final Fantasy 16 and it's played like a few other role-playing games before, but has never really played like a tactical role-playing game, which is really cool to see.
Yeah, this one's a weird man. It's hard to say it's a tactical RPG to me. I'm sorry. It is. It's just really more automatic than a tactical RPG.
But when you think about Fire Emblem, for example, you're
yeah,
initiating the combat, but you're not controlling the combat yourself either. Like,
well, that's more about individual unit placement and where to put it. It's more terrain based and more single unit based, and it's turn based. Whereas this one is more like, let's form the units together. Okay, let's see how this plays out. And it's a little bit more there's movement in it. It's not turn based. I was
gonna say, because like there's a lot more planning on the fly that you do as you get further into the game. So like
that makes sense. Yeah.
So it's much less automatic than like the first kind of tutorial and then first chapter kind of let you believe it is. That's why I feel like there's like I feel like you haven't scratched the surface yet, because there's a lot of strategy and a lot of role-playing stuff too, because there's a lot of equipment to buy, like skill trees, like all kinds of
I don't think I hit the skill trees, to be honest with you. I may play a little more just to see what that looks like. But yeah,
you have to get pretty far. Like it's
how many hours is it?
Basically,
I think I'm almost there. Like I got to the point where I need to defeat like one town. There was like at one moment, it was like, hey, you could try to beat this town, but you're not. You're going to have to leave because this is the tutorial how to leave a battle.
Right. Yeah, exactly.
I'm around there. So, yeah, let's see.
And second question from the chat. Question, how does this game compare to the PS3 classic Overlord? Is it the same game, just with unicorns? So, Garrett, just so you know, Overlord on the PS3 was a game where you play as a bad guy in like a fantasy world, and you summon a bunch of minions and you're trying to take over a kingdom. That's kind of what you do. You're kind of playing.
That sounds cool.
The bad guy. Yeah. Nothing like this at all. In any way, shape, or form. They are two completely different games.
Sounds like it.
And it's just one of those things. I also see Lockcliff also playing the demo as well, which is pretty sweet.
Wow.
So cool to see so many people joining the hailing.
I hope we get a
Unicorn Overlords.
Are we going to get enough popularity where we're going to get a game channel out of this? Unicorn Overload.
I think we might need one.
We might need one. Yes.
Yeah, exactly. So I will say, Garrett, and the reason I also want to bring this up today is I've made a decision since the PlayStation Drive on Saturday, a decision today that I decided to make. So I've been doing a lot of thinking, because I was risky. Like, I was on the fence about what to do in this kind of situation with Unicorn Overlord. And then really it wasn't until I played the demo that I finally came to my answer. So as you might know, a little RPG is coming out this week called Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. I don't know if you've heard of it, Garrett.
Doesn't ring a bell.
Yeah. And I think that because I'm so really still invested in Persona 3 Reload and I really want to finish it before Unicorn Overload, in theory, I could just blast through the rest of the game that I've got left in a couple days, but I kind of want to savor what I've got left of Persona 3 Reload. I don't want to.
Yeah, it's good.
To myself.
It's a good game.
And I know that there's not going to be enough time to sink my teeth into Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, because everyone I know who's played that game, because I know multiple people who reviewed the game, they all told me they spent like 70 plus hours with that game.
So many hours.
And I'm like, there's no way I can finish that game before Unicorn Overlord comes out next week. So I had to make a choice, Garrett, whether I play 7 Rebirth and then not get Unicorn Overlord, or put 7 Rebirth on the back burner and get it later and get Unicorn Overlord day 1. And I've decided, thanks to the demo, I'm just going all in with Unicorn Overlord. Day 1, baby.
Dang.
I don't care. Like, this is like one of my most anticipated games of the year. I'm excited for Rebirth. I do want to play it, but like, I ain't got no time now to play that game. And it might be a very long time before I have a chance to play that game. Because if the demo for Unicorn Overlord is any indication, this is probably also going to be a very long game too. So
yeah,
I think that I'm just going to wait on Final Fantasy VII Rebirth. And I also know that Matt is going to be playing it over on the PlayStation Drive. So we'll still have someone at Carpool playing 7 Rebirth, but like, I think I can wait. I think I can wait until, April or May or whenever it goes on sale to play it then.
It's gonna go on sale in the fall, not a month later.
No, that's true. I'm kind of fooling myself a little bit by saying that. Realistically, I'll probably pick it up when before it goes on sale. But
yeah.
But it might be one of those things where it's just like, well, sorry, 7 Rebirth. Like, you might be waiting around until April or May at this point for me to play it.
That's a bold move, man. Well, okay, you got Unicorn Overlord, and then you also have Rise of the Ronin. Is that a game that you're setting your sights on as well?
I am pretty excited about Rise of the Ronin, and
it
just depends on where I'm at with Unicorn Overlord at that point. It comes out, 2 weeks afterwards, but that's something I have my eyes set on. I mean, it does come out on my birthday, Garrett, is Rise of the Ronin. So
that's nice.
It's one of those things where it might be, a nice, like, well, maybe I play this for my birthday kind of thing. But also, someone on the PlayStation Drive has to play these Sony games. Might just be me.
That's true. That's true. Dragon's Dogma 2, I'm all in for it. It's like, it really is for me. Persona 3 Reload. And then I think after 3 Reload, I want to do Lunar. I don't want to do Lunar and Persona 3 Reload at the same time, just because of the mindset of my turn-based games. I want to be very focused on it. So it's just kind of hard for me to do them both at the same time. So it would most likely be Persona 3 Reload, Lunar, and then at the same time with Lunar, I want to get in a little bit more and probably not beat it though. A second playthrough of Dragon's Dogma.
Okay.
I played like the intro of it last week, and I'm like, I remember why this is so good. It's such a good game. Nice. But anyways, I got that covered. But then I'll just probably be playing those kind of simultaneously up until I hit Dragon's Dogma 2. That'll probably be my RPG like roadmap. As you say. Yeah.
Also now, Garrett, now that I know I'm coming to Unicorn Overlord, I'm like really eyeing the collector's edition that comes with the card game at this point.
Yeah.
I wasn't thinking about it before. I'm like, I pushed it back to the back of my mind, but I'm like, I'm really looking at that right now. I'm like, maybe I should get this. Now
How much is it in USD? Is it 200?
I don't know what it is in USD. In Canadian dollars, it's $170.
Okay, that sounds more like 100. I don't know, 30 or 40 maybe.
But to put it in perspective, Garrett, the game itself in Canadian dollars is 93 Canadian dollars.
That's a lot, man.
So at that point, I'm just like, well, I'm basically paying $60 or $80 more, and I'm getting the card game as well as physical stuff.
Collector's edition is 130 USD in and then the regular game is 60.
Yeah, Canadian pricing is different, Garrett.
That's so weird.
Final Fantasy VII Rebirth is $100 Canadian.
That's so So it's a $70 difference between the collector's edition and then the. I want to confirm myself. It's $60. It's not even 70. It's just
that's what I mean. Like, it's actually. I'm at that point. I'm like, this makes. I could talk myself into this.
Yeah,
that's especially because like I've talked about it before, but I'm like making a conscious effort to buy less games this year. And it might just be one of those things where I'm like, this is like the one time where I can kind of go all in with something like this. Cause like I don't imagine you actually picking up any other collector's editions this year, I think.
Honestly, like, I mean, we've been talking about this for a long time in 2024. There's like not too much that we're excited about, at least for now, for the fall or summer. Like there was, I think last year there was just a lot of crazy RPGs coming. Like Starfield was like the biggest one, we were thinking in the beginning of the year.
Well, we'll talk about some of them tonight because we got like some Xbox ones that we're pretty excited about, I think.
Yes, definitely.
You're right. It's definitely like less than you would expect. But anyways, speaking of that, segue. We should probably 28 minutes into the show. We should probably read from the sacred texts because we got to get into our topic this week, which of course is our third part in our 3-part series that we've been doing. We've been doing like examining each console and looking at the state of role-playing games in 2024 for each console. We've done Nintendo, we've done PlayStation. Tonight it's Xbox's turn, as Garrett, of course, showed off his Xbox Draft 300 t-shirt. That's
heck yeah
t-shirt. So yeah, we've got lots of cool role-playing games to talk about tonight. So first off, we're going to do what we did last time. We're going to run through the games that are already out on Xbox this year. We're going to talk about the upcoming Xbox role-playing games, and then we'll just talk about the state of where we think Xbox is generally when it comes to RPGs. But going into this, Garrett, we've known that the reputation for Xbox is that Xbox as a platform has never really been like thought of as like the role-playing game platform,
right?
In a lot of ways, but we might be out here to change people's minds about that tonight because there's a lot of them. So
there's a lot coming up for sure. Yeah,
there sure is. So first off, of course, the release so far list, same as last week's other than Grand Blue Fantasy Relink, which did not come to Xbox. So we got Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth, Persona 3 Reload, which of course is on Game Pass, which is another thing that we're going to highlight a little bit tonight. And then Banisher's Ghost of New Eden, which is one of Kevin Ainsworth's favorite games of the year.
Favorite game of the generation? Is that what he's called? Okay. One of them.
Yeah.
One of
I mean, that's a game that like
1,000.
That's a game like when it goes on sale later this year, I'm definitely gonna play, I think.
Yeah, me too. It looks good. And I owe it to myself to play Vampire as well, because I do love Don't Nod. I love those kind of action RPG. Like it's more like I don't know. Yeah, it's just an action RPG that looks cool. And it's more dark and more emotion and story focused. Looks cool. So I'll be down playing Banishers.
Yeah. Also, speaking of choices, Garrett, it's quick side tangent. So you never got to the choices in Unicorn Overlord, right? Like as far as the story choices?
Not specifically, no.
Oh, I am so interested to find out when you
which choice I did
there.
Okay,
because like
I'll promise to play a little more of the demo. How about
you don't have to commit more to it, but I'm like that's something I'm really interested to find out in conversations with people, because like it took a turn when I made like my first choice, and I'm just like, I need to know what happened to other.
By the way, the writing is like throwing me off just a little bit. It's getting a little fancy, a little too fancy for my.
It is a localization. It's been brought up on Twitter. It's been a whole like it was actually.
I read it
on Twitter. Yeah,
yeah. I've been reading it. There's like this whole like I don't know. There's just this one Twitter thread just talking about the localization of it and just like, oh look how different it is between the Japanese, actual language. And then I just hear like a kind of reply back from this other person. Anyways, it just went through a whole rabbit hole about the localization of this, this translation. But anyways, the writing's weird. That's all I have to say.
Well, speaking of upcoming releases, Garrett, the first game on the list is, of course, Unicorn Overlord. That's the next RPG coming to Xbox, which is awesome because this is important to note. This is Vanillaware's first game on Xbox ever.
So if you want RPGs on Xbox, like you are like fully into the Xbox ecosystem and only want Xbox, buy this game because you're going to give Vanillaware that attention. It's like, hey, we want this game on this platform.
There's a couple Atlas RPGs we're going to talk about on Xbox tonight as well. And like, I would maybe take the same mentality with some of those as well. Cause like, Atlas, like I feel like they really enjoy developing games for Xbox. So as long as we keep them in the room, it's okay. But yeah, it's so cool. I'm so glad that this is finally here. And me too. this opens the door for past Vanillaware games to come to Xbox, like 13 Sentinels or Dragon's Crown or something else to get re-released on Xbox down the road. I think that would be awesome because those Vanillaware's games are awesome and they are definitely worth playing. But.
Question. Okay, they have some Vanillaware games on PC. They don't have all the games though on PC as well.
No,
they have. Yeah. Okay.
Because like Dragon's Crown, as an example, is exclusive to PlayStation. It's only been on.
That's
PlayStation
what I thought. Yeah.
13 Sentinels, I think, only came to Switch and PS4.
It's only on PS4 and Vita. Yeah. And PS3.
Yep. Yeah. Odin Sphere has never been off PlayStation. I don't think Grim Grimoire, when the remake came out for that either, I think that was only on PlayStation as well.
Really?
Maybe it was on Switch, but
I think it came out on Steam. I thought.
Nope. Nintendo Switch, PS5, PS4, PS2, and PS3.
That's a crime. You should put it on PC. But anyways, okay, we're done. We're done with this.
We're done with the Vanillaware rabbit hole. Dragon's Dogma 2 coming out the same week as Rise of the Ronin, as well as Alone in the Dark and like a bajillion other games. Again, also my birthday week. So there you go.
So I think I'm gonna get Dragon's Dogma 2 on Xbox. I think I'll wait to see what the performance is like on Steam Deck, and if it's doable, if it's manageable, I'll probably get on PC. But other than that, I'll most likely get on Xbox because I doubt it's gonna work great on Steam Deck or PC in general.
Probably not. I mean, it might be an up to best, but it's Capcom. You never know; they might surprise us.
Yeah, Capcom does a really good job with their games. This is built on the RE engine, I think, as well. So, and they really do well optimize that engine with their games.
Speaking of Capcom, again, this is off topic from Xbox, but did you see that Monster Hunter Stories, the remake of that, is coming to PC and PlayStation, but not Xbox?
It's not coming to Xbox. Okay.
It's coming to literally everything but Xbox. It's weird.
So that's Monster Hunter Stories, the remake or just the remaster or whatever, the first one.
Yeah.
On 3DS.
Yeah.
Okay. That sucks. But
also, it's weird too that they would put that there, but then they don't have Stories 2 on PlayStation. But that's a tale for another day.
Yeah.
That was information I found out while I was like researching for tonight's episode, so I wanted to throw that in there. We also got in April, Eiyuden Chronicle 100 Heroes in Game Pass day and date.
Let's do it.
We're all gonna play that game on Game Pass because it's in Game Pass. Like, why not?
Yeah. So I guess people don't know. Me and Ryan are Game Pass subscribers. And then actually, like, I got to the point with me. I don't know about you, Ryan. I've been playing Persona 3 Reload. I've been playing other Game Pass games as well. I get to the point, man, where I am consistently getting points, reward points. And I am like 70% the way through to get 3 months over the past 2 months. So like by my pace, I am actually getting enough to like pay up the time that I've spent on Game Pass. But you got to really be attentive to that one because you kind of need to like play. You need to play the game on console or on PC, and you kind of need an achievement. Those are like the two daily things. So yeah, you really got to be into it in order to pay out.
You also have to make sure you play Microsoft Jeweled 2 on your phone every day.
I do that
because like
no joke, I do that.
Because you just got to get to level 2, which literally takes like 30 seconds to do, and then you get like 30 points for that. So that's even more than playing a game or getting an achievement.
I keep getting double the points, and I think it's because I get like there's like certain amount of friends or something that you have. Anyways, yeah, we're Game Pass subscribers. We're totally into Eiyuden Chronicles 100 Heroes. I'll be playing it day one for sure in April. So yeah.
I mentioned on PlayStation Drive this week. I'm like, I'm excited for that game, but I'm totally playing that one on Xbox because it's on Game Pass, like 100%.
Exactly.
Why not? But next up, we got Sandland, which we talked about on last week's episode a lot. And then
that's coming to Xbox. I'm surprised, actually. Okay, cool.
It is. Yeah, Bandai Namco actually putting a lot of their stuff on Xbox.
That's true. They've been doing a good job of bringing all of their games to Xbox as well. So I guess it's not too much of a surprise. But Sandland, as I told you last week, I think I was a little bit more hyped after that video that I saw than anything else. So we'll see how it goes.
Yeah, exactly. Like, and I watched the video too, Garrett, after the show, like we talked
Yeah.
about. And yeah, I actually am more excited about that game, but that's also like because it's coming out the same week as Iron Chronicles, so that's definitely like a wait for sale.
It's hard. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
And then next up in June, we just got the release date for this over the end of last week. Elden Ring: The Shadow of the Erd Tree, the expansion for Elden Ring. The Erd Tree,
or the Church Tree, as people would call it.
Look, I'm just reading the words that are on the paper, okay, Garrett?
Yeah.
Either way, the expansion for Elden Ring is coming out. Are you gonna go back to Elden Ring, Garrett?
Dude, I need to play that game. I have it installed on my Steam Deck. It's waiting there. Yeah. The 120 hours is waiting for me.
Yeah.
Right there.
Whenever you have 120 hours to spare, Garrett.
Well, when I can just, stop everything I do in life and just play that game, I'll do it. I actually, and I tell you this too, I want to play Persona 5 Royal as well, but it's just like, well, why am I kidding with myself? Like, why am I doing this to myself? But
honestly, Garrett, you might just need to do what Nagachaka and Sean have done and just be like, I'm not buying any new games this year. Just play old games.
Yeah, I think the only game I would really like to get this year is Dragon's Dogma 2, and that's really it. Like after hearing all the other games, a lot of games are coming to Game Pass, and like are they? And so that's just like one thing. Unless there's like a Fire Emblem game coming out later this year, I don't know. I'm not gonna buy too much other things,
especially since we found out, after we did the Switch show, Garrett, the Nintendo RPG episode, that like it sounds like the Switch 2 ain't coming out this year. So
no, it's not.
As far as we know of, anyways. So like we don't even have that to worry about as far as getting games.
Yeah.
But although I'm still thinking maybe Metroid Prime 4 actually comes out this year. But
wouldn't that be crazy?
I mean, I will play it even if it's just on normal Switch because I'm that person.
I'm sure it'll be great on Switch because they've been developing it on Switch.
Well, and it's also it's retro, and they're just really good at maximizing whatever hardware they're on. So, but then next up, the same week, Garrett, Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance coming to Xbox.
Actually, that's kind of cool.
Yeah,
that's the first Shin Megami Tensei game coming to Xbox.
Yeah, it is.
This is so groundbreaking. I don't know if people don't. Shin Megami Tensei so PlayStation. Like it's in depth with that culture of PlayStation. It's astonishing to see this one coming to Xbox. But hey, Sega and Atlas, they really are supporting the Xbox platform, which I'm really happy to see. Wow. I hope people play it on Xbox. That's all I have to say.
Yeah, hopefully. Are you now? $1 million question. You, of course, finish Shin Megami Tensei 5. Are you? But you get literally nothing from having this version because you can't bring your stuff over. Do you go back for this?
If I want to, if I want to suffer, if I want to inflict pain on myself, I would buy this game.
Yeah,
yeah. And it's just so hard seeing this, and I know I'm the idiot. I'm the dumb person playing the first version, the beta version, the pre-version of every game. So it's really a full me than a full anyone else. But yeah, I'll wait for a sale. If it's for $20, that's when I'll give in. But other than that, I'm not touching this at all. Yeah.
This is a game that I'm maybe looking at some point because I didn't play the original. And because I didn't want to play it on Switch, just flat out, I didn't want to play it on Switch. That makes sense.
Yeah.
Like I knew it was going to come to other platforms. We knew about the PC release for forever for this game. So I'm like, now that it's coming to other consoles, like I think this is finally time where I start seriously looking at getting playing this game.
That would be interesting. I would like to hear your thoughts. But yeah, let me kind of just preface everyone what this new version builds upon. So Shin Megami Tensei 5, the original, is just one playthrough, right? It's just one route. You're going through a story. This new one, from the beginning of the game, you have two routes to choose from. One is the original route of Shin Megami Tensei 5. It's literally the same game, but some extra enhancements. You got new demons and new negotiations and probably a little bit new enhancements here and there, but not too much. It's just the same story, literally. And then there's a second route called Vengeance Route, it's kind of like the same in the beginning, but it completely branches off and has a new character and new, like, brand new stuff. So that's kind of the difference. So if people are going into this, it's like, oh, should I get the old game to get this new one? It's like, no, just get Vengeance. That's all you need. You don't need to get 5 anymore.
Yeah, it's much closer to Persona 5 Royal or Persona 4 Golden than it is like a DLC expansion pack.
Yeah. Because it's weird because Shin Megami Tensei 4 Apocalypse was a different game.
Right.
It was a completely different game. But 5 Vengeance has 5 in it.
Yeah, I think they just wanted to do that because like it's coming to other platforms. So they wanted to make sure to like it's almost like a bundle or of just the two of the games together. But sense. Also it sounds like Vengeance isn't really a sequel or anything like that. It's just an alternate story. And like from what they made, it sounds like it's just like if you haven't played the original and you don't care about it, you should just play Vengeance, and then that's all you should play. So
yeah,
because like that's what the way I look at it. Where like if I'm going to play this game, that's probably what I'm going to do is just play Vengeance, the Vengeance path only.
Yeah, and I think the biggest thing with this one is that you can save literally anytime,
right?
And that's awesome. A big thing. Yeah, that's huge. It was already pretty nice for the original one I played. It was pretty easy with the saving, but now I think it's just like, I don't know if it's within battles so much, but like within cutscenes, and he's like, you can literally save anywhere. That's pretty big. So super cool. I'm excited for people to play more of this game. Yep. So I can hear the enjoyment off of other people and their pain as well.
Or the misery. Their misery. You just want to hear their misery, Garret. I get it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly.
All right. Next up, the last game that we know of a release date for Xbox. Black Myth Wukong. We talked about it on last week's episode.
Okay, yeah.
That one's also coming to Xbox, despite the fact that this one was like originally like Sony paid for a lot of the development for this game.
This is the hero project, yeah. It was a big funding for them too.
It's coming day one to Xbox, which is weird to me, but also cool. It's cool that it's coming to Xbox.
Yeah.
And PC as well. But as far as that goes, that's the list of all the games we have release dates for. Here are the release games though that have 2024 as their release date. So and we're assuming are coming out this year. Starting with the game on the thumbnail, old Skelly Boys game. Avowed, of course, it's an exclusive. It's on Game Pass. It's a first-party game. It's Obsidian. We've talked about Avowed a bunch of times on the show. We're both pretty excited about this game. So
very excited. I have it as my background on Xbox. Super cool. Dynamic background of the skeleton with all the different I feel like they're like biomes or like different sceneries or whatever, and it just looks so cool. They did a really good job with the design. I want to see a little more. I feel like I didn't see enough with that developer kind of direct playthrough or whatever. It was really more focused on the gameplay, and it still just kind of looked alpha to me, beta-ish. And so I want to see more. I'm sure we'll see more in E3 time, summertime.
Yeah, so SGF time. That's what
SGF time.
Yeah. Summer Game Fest.
Oh no.
Yeah.
Weird. Yeah. So weird.
Good God. So Avowed, we want to know more.
It's coming.
But it's one of the bigger games, and again, it's an exclusive to Xbox, which is nice because we haven't talked about too many exclusives yet at all. But
I wonder maybe this game, I mean, we won't know until like years later or way later, maybe next year or 2 years, maybe coming to PlayStation. At this point the seal's been broken. They put the initiative out there. Here are the 4 games, and it's like, that's the start.
Yeah, exactly.
We'll see how it goes from there.
But I think that's a good way, a smart way of doing that. But
and then also I just, for the audience to know, Avowed is I think it's just more of Obsidian's take about a high fantasy RPG, and it's going to be more akin to what you know about the Outer Worlds than anything. Outer Worlds has that format of like, here, it's pretty focused RPG. You got dialogue choices. You have a choice to make between different situations. There's smaller worlds or different areas. You could tell even in the developer direct where they're like, hey, this is world 3 or world 2 or whatever. So you know it's not going to be a fully on connected world with many different things to go to. It's more focused. And just keep that in mind for people out there wanting to get into this. It's not Skyrim 2.0. It's not a Bethesda RPG. It really isn't. I want to put that into people's minds. It's like, yeah, Obsidian made Fallout New Vegas, but they made Outer Worlds too, and they're gonna. It's gonna be a more focused game than a Bethesda game.
It's gonna be an Obsidian game in a lot of ways, because a lot
Mm-hmm.
of their games are like that, and Fallout New Vegas is kind of the outlier in a lot of ways.
True.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Because they had to make it like Fallout. But
exactly.
Next up, sometime this summer, we're getting Final Fantasy 14 on Xbox. That is, of course, a new release this year. It's Final Fantasy 14, and of course, the newest expansion, Dawn Trail, also coming this summer to Xbox. It's going to be day and date, which is going to be awesome. So
that's so cool.
We're gonna have people jumping in. I know that Bowsah and I are both playing. I know Fee also plays Final Fantasy 14. We have like a little Final Fantasy 14 thing in the Discord. People are interested in hopping in with us. In fact, we have a Final Fantasy 14 free company for Carpool Gaming. All of the details are actually in the Discord as well for anyone who's brand new to the game and jumping in. We're gonna have like a whole thing whenever they kind of announce when that's actually happening, because like the free trial, the open beta is happening right now on Xbox, but like they have it very limited. So like in your progress, I don't know if it actually carries over or not. So let's just like, none of us are jumping into that just yet, but later this year, it's gonna be exciting.
So is this when I try this out? You know, I'll try it on Xbox. Is that a thing?
I mean, you can technically play it right now because
I wonder
the trial's up.
Yeah, I wonder how playable it is on Steam Deck. That's my question.
Or, I mean, it's probably playable.
Well, yeah. How is it? You know, in terms of just controller support on PC. I think that's more of a question in general. I'm not too sure.
I mean, I've played with controller on PC, and it's literally when you start the game, there's it comes up with, hey, are you playing with a mouse and keyboard or a controller?
Okay.
You press the button. Mm-hmm. That's it.
Wow, that easy.
And it switches. Yeah. Okay. Or you can just switch it in the menus at any time, like before you even log into a character.
And I can play like the first 100 hours.
You just have to sign up for the free trial.
Okay.
And there's like a specific link you go to do that, or just Google Final Fantasy 14 free trial. But yes, if you play the free trial, you can play it's not even capped at 100 hours. It's literally the base game and the first 2 expansions, which will take you over 100 hours to finish on its own. And you can play as much as you want.
They're just like, here you go. Here's a bunch of entertainment for you for this amount of time for free.
Yeah. Well, there are certain limitations. Like it's you can't do a couple of different things.
Okay.
But that's none of those are related to the gameplay or anything like that. It's more like part of the party system. Like you can't like join certain things. Like you can't join like a free company because your character hasn't bought into the game yet, kind of thing. Or you can't own property, like you can't own a house.
Okay.
As a free trial person.
Got it. Cool.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah.
Sounds good.
Yeah. So Final Fantasy 14 coming to Xbox this year. We got Greedfall 2, The Dying World, which we talked about in last week's episode, coming to Xbox sometime this year. I think that's supposed to be over the summer at some point too, but we don't really have a release date for it.
By spiders.
Yet. Yeah. We got Metaphor, ReFantazio also coming to Xbox. Another Atlas role-playing game, Garrett, which is pretty sweet. That's another one to buy, add to the buy list. In fact, like of the Atlas role-playing games, like that's probably like the one people should keep in their eye on. But
yeah, it is definitely Metaphor, ReFantazio. Yeah, that's the only other RPG I'm focusing on later this year in the fall. But
Dave Moore, aka the Smack Network, also asked us about what happened to Fable. Fable's not on this list. I don't know when that game's coming.
It ain't coming out this year, so
yeah, it's coming out at some point. But Garrett, you know what is coming to Xbox this year?
What?
A series is making its Xbox debut this year. A beloved series, a long-running series. Neptunia Sisters versus Sisters is coming to Xbox this
year. You got me going there for a second.
Yeah.
And wow. Okay. No.
So now Xbox can now be part of the Neptunia family.
The Neptunia family. Cool. Are they going to make a new Neptunia sister? I mean, they already have one probably for Xbox, right?
What?
Like don't
they an Xbox Neptunia sister?
Yeah.
I think there is already one.
Yeah, there already is one. Hopefully that's the main character.
Hopefully. Well, no, this one's also on other platforms, but it's also coming to Xbox. But it surprised me because I was like, I was not expecting to see a Hyperdimension Neptunia game is coming to Xbox.
But it
there
is.
You go. Yeah.
First for everything.
Yeah. Also, Garrett, one of our favorite role-playing games from last year, also making its debut on Xbox this year, Octopath Traveler 2, coming this summer.
So cool. Yeah. That's really cool to hear. This was a weird thing for the longest time. I know we've been talking about how Octopath Traveler 2 wasn't day one on, or it wasn't announced for Xbox for a long time. And it's like, that's weird because the first one is on Xbox. And well, now I'm glad they're opening up. It feels like Xbox and Square Enix are getting more closer to each other than it was, I would say, a year ago or 2 years ago. So we'll see how it goes.
They're friends now.
They're friends now.
The only thing they can't get is Final Fantasy VII Rebirth at this point.
No, they can't.
No. But everything else is on the table at this point.
Yeah.
Even Parasite Eve when it eventually comes back. Next up, we got Towerborn, which is an exclusive because it's published by Microsoft and it's on Game Pass. Of course it is. This is like an action RPG beat 'em up game. It got announced a long time ago, I keep forgetting that this game exists. But it is coming out. It is supposed to come out this year, and I keep hearing from Nate to hate that it's coming out this year. So I'm expecting that it actually comes out this year, and is actually a thing. But it's probably last half of the year kind of thing. But it's supposed to be like I would think something like Dragon's Crown for folks that don't really know anything about this game, where it's like you pick one of a set number of characters. They all have different RPG elements. Like they level up. You level up the characters as you go. You get your gear for them. But it's like a beat 'em up game, so it plays kind of like Streets of Rage or something like that, but with RPG stuff.
Cool, sounds good, and it's coming to Game Pass. So
yeah. I mean, definitely it's on Game Pass, so I'm gonna probably try it out because I like beat 'em up games. Like I liked the D&D RPG beat 'em up games. I like Dragon's Crown, and then I like beat 'em up games in general, like Streets of Rage or Turtles. So like this is a game that seems like it's right up my alley. So I'm really excited to check that one out later this year. Of course, the Chinese Room's Vampire the Masquerade Bloodlines 2.
Of course.
Also coming out this year. We talked about that on last week. I'm less excited about that game now, but it's still coming out technically.
Yeah.
And then last game coming to Xbox this year that we know about is Visions of Mana from Square Enix, which was at the Xbox Developer Direct, which was cool to see there. But again, that's a game I'm very excited about. I love the Mana games, so I can't wait to play it. But
yeah, it looks good.
Yeah.
Cool.
So that's the full list, Garrett, the full landscape
of this year.
And that's what we know about so far. Of course, there's still time for things to be announced. We still don't really know what's coming out in the second half of the year from most of these companies at this point. So
that's true.
I still expect more stuff is to come. But overall, Garrett, I think this is a pretty strong list. Like I think this is almost as good as the PlayStation list we read off last week.
Yeah, the only thing missing is really Rebirth. That is like the biggest one, but other than that, it sounds like there's a lot of support of Atlas and Sega. All of their games coming to Xbox too, which is great. And then a lot of Game Pass games as well. They're RPGs, and it's kind of crazy to see the shadow drops as well. What's one that came out last week? I forgot. Dead Island. No,
Oh, Dead Island coming to Game Pass, you mean?
Yeah, Dead Island coming to Game 2. Dead Island 2 just randomly came to Game Pass one day. And it's just like, what? I was eyeing this game for the longest time, and it's just now on Game Pass. That's kind of crazy to hear. So yeah, it just more of those things will pop up, and so I expect a few more big RPGs gonna come to Game Pass. I I mean, I would not be surprised if I'm not saying it will. I'm just saying I would not be surprised if Visions of Mana type of game would come to Game Pass.
Right.
I wouldn't say day one just because, they've been promoting it on the side. I feel like they would have done it already if they would announce for Visions of Mana specifically. But maybe like a Metaphor Refantasio. Maybe I'm just thinking of these bigger Japanese focused role playing games coming to day one in Game Pass. I would not be surprised to see that. That'd be cool.
I'm actually kind of surprised with the list of games we read off. The Atlas ones, Garrett, the one I'm actually most surprised about that isn't Game Pass is actually Shin Megami Tensei 5 Vengeance. Like that seems like the type of game where like makes sense to put that in Game Pass for people to try it out.
That'd
like
be
almost
cool.
like 3 Reload or something like that to get just more people interested in Shin Megami Tensei. Like I feel like that's the move maybe for that game, since it probably isn't going to sell. Like it's probably going to be the worst selling game of those 3 on Xbox, I would imagine.
Yeah, I think so too.
I was gonna say, like, if it was like, I might feel differently about Unicorn Overlord if the demo hadn't come out, but the demo has so many people like foaming at the mouth for that game that like I actually think that game's gonna sell really well. It might be the best selling Vanillaware game ever.
Yeah,
at this point.
No, I
13 Sentinels hit 1 million copies, and I think Unicorn Overlord's gonna probably surpass that pretty quickly. I think. But,
I was not surprised to see Unicorn Overlord not on Game Pass as much, just because they're pretty. I feel like that studio specifically is pretty conservative with like just like giving it to other platforms or giving it to other things. It's surprising to see it on Xbox. So again, if you want to support Vanillaware games on Xbox, buy that game, because I don't know. I could totally see the next game is like, all right, it's gonna be PlayStation and Switch only, and that's pretty much it. But yeah, it is looking good for Xbox. I play a lot of my RPGs on Xbox or on PC. So yeah, I like to see it, the more the merrier on these Japanese role playing games, and of course these Western role playing games. I'm excited for Avowed. Of course, I'm also excited for Fable, the new Fable game coming out. Not this year, but like later on in the years, and then also Clockwork Revolution has my. I definitely have my eyes set on that for sure. Hopefully we'll see more of that during summertime as well.
Yeah, I feel like 2025 is going to be, Clockwork Revolution, Fable. Maybe that's when we get the next Forza Horizon game. And there's going to be some heavy hitters, I think, from Xbox in 2025. Like, I feel like that's going to be a big year for them. Also this year, you can't forget about the Activision Blizzard stuff as well, and Bethesda, because I still feel like there's room for something else from Bethesda this year. Maybe it's Doom Year Zero, or maybe it's something else. But like, I feel like there's room for maybe more Bethesda stuff. Just like I feel like there's room for more Activision stuff. Of course, one of the biggest role-playing games of the year is coming from Xbox, thanks to Activision Blizzard with World of Warcraft's new expansion with the War Within. Of course, we didn't talk about it because it's on PC, but like, I don't know, man. I feel like this year is going to be pretty good for Xbox. So I'm going to ask the question, of course, now that we've gone through the 3 companies, is, first of all, of the 3 companies, I think it's pretty obvious that Microsoft's probably the biggest first party when it comes to role-playing games between the 3 of them.
In terms of first party, yes, I would say so. Yes, I agree.
Nintendo's been, I think, improving that a little bit, with Mario RPG and Paper Mario, Thousand Year Door, and some other stuff like that. But like, I definitely think like Microsoft's probably the biggest one. But do you think, and we asked this question, maybe a few months ago, but I'm going to revisit it here. Is Microsoft first party one of the biggest RPG publishers in the entire world at this point?
Well, I wouldn't. That's okay. Publishers,
Yeah,
because
publishers.
You got Bethesda under your belt. Now you got World of Warcraft
Yep.
under there too. And I'm just trying to think of other Activision RPGs. There's not really big heavy hitters other
Yeah, I
than
was gonna say
World of
Activision,
Warcraft.
Blizzard's because you got Diablo, of course.
Of
Which
course,
also
Diablo. Sorry,
there's a new Diablo expansion coming out later this year as well, which is also a
coming to
Microsoft
Game
thing.
Pass in 1 month for
Yeah,
Diablo 4. Yeah,
for the main
can't
game.
wait.
Yeah, yeah. But
Cool. Yeah. So you got those two. You got Bethesda Game Studios in
yeah,
general,
or
which has
Obsidian
you got Obsidian, and you got
in Exile.
man in Exile. That's the other one too.
Yep.
You got many in your house. So I would say, yeah, in terms of just like if you look at the three, I think it's the biggest one. Still, the most impactful for me right now is really Fire Emblem and Xenoblade. Those are like the two series that like kind of burst out at me
Right.
from the Nintendo world, and of course, Square Enix is the heaviest of
Yeah.
all of them.
I don't know. I think they're getting outdone by Sega a little bit. Like
Sega is a big one too. Yeah. They've been really shining. I'm really proud of them with the Yakuza series and also Persona series. Really just hamming those sales just coming out, and like Persona 3 Reload. I think it was a good bet to put it on Game Pass just to have it just more exposure in the Xbox platform. But they have guaranteed sales, of course, with PlayStation in that crowd over there. So
yeah.
yeah, Atlas and Sega in general is just really shining.
Yeah, like I just did a
It's
quick
cool.
count. Like they've got like 6 role-playing games this year. Sega.
That's crazy. Yeah.
Yeah, that's more than we know about from Square Enix at this point, which is crazy to
Mm-hmm.
think about. So yeah,
Yeah.
like I think Microsoft's up there. I think with Square and Sega as like
Yeah.
3 of the biggest RPG publishers in the world, especially with Western role-playing games. I think Microsoft is like easily the biggest.
Yeah, they don't have that one big heavy hitter like most Western role playing games studios are. They're kind of sell it off doing their own individual Western role playing game, whereas
Right.
Microsoft, the publisher, and they've been really mixing around. Like their studios there's a lot of flexibility, right? Because in Exile, new game,
Yep.
Obsidian, going left and right with different games, and they're making just smaller, more focused Western role playing games, which is super cool to see.
Yeah,
Yeah,
exactly. So, I mean, I'm gonna just come out here with the hot take. I think Microsoft is in a really good position when it comes to role playing games, and I haven't been able to say that for a long
in a
time. I
long
mean,
time.
I did Xbox Drive for 4 years, Garrett, trying to petition more role playing games to come to Xbox, and now we're finally here. I think we're finally at the moment where like Xbox is kind of known as a good platform for role playing games now.
Yeah, we definitely wouldn't say that during the Xbox One era for sure.
Where
That was
literally
a rough
everything was
time.
skipping. Yeah.
Yeah, that was a rough time. 360 was an interesting kind of boon in terms of third party
Yeah.
role playing games being exclusive over there.
Well, you
And they
also
put a
had a lot
lot
of
of effort.
third-party games like making their debut on Xbox. Like we had Final
That's
Fantasy
true.
13 being the first Final Fantasy game ever on Xbox.
Yeah.
Like on during the 360 era, as an example.
Right.
But of course, you also had the GOAT Alpha Protocol on Xbox, Garrett.
Of course, you have the Goat Alpha Protocol, as everyone knows, of course.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's cool to see Xbox, really embracing the RPG genre in general. And they're not really like, hey, this needs to be a thing in our pillar, but they definitely do consider it when they acquired Bethesda in
Yeah.
general. And then, when they acquired Obsidian in Exile, they know they needed that RPG flavor into their portfolio, and it's really cool to see. So yeah,
for sure.
So can't wait till Mistwalker comes out during
Yeah.
Summer Games Fest time, and we're ready to rock and roll with Lost
Please.
Odyssey too, right?
You know what they're going to do. They're going to announce that Fantasian's finally coming to other platforms, and it'll be
That'd
on
be cool,
everything.
actually.
They'll announce it that it's on everything but Xbox. You know that's what
that
they're
would
going
suck.
to do.
That would suck.
Yeah.
I'll play on Steam Deck then. That's fine.
That would be a cool Game Pass game, though. Like,
Definitely.
it
Yeah,
really
yeah,
would be. Like, that's
yeah.
a game Microsoft should just go snap up or just, negotiate
Yeah.
mildly for. But
Yeah, definitely.
yeah. Well, before we go, Garrett, we have one
Yes.
last question coming to us from Nagachaka, who
Okay.
asks, what are your thoughts on the Like a Dragon series? I've only played the Judgment spin-off, and I'm worried about jumping into the Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth without playing all the other games in the series. So
Interesting.
I think you and I are probably the two worst people to ask about this.
Yeah, this is
'Cause,
the
like,
we're not qualified.
yeah, because like you haven't, I think you've only played Yakuza Like a Dragon, right, Garrett?
Yeah, and I didn't even finish it. I got stuck and I just gave up on it.
I too have only played Yakuza Like a Dragon, and I got like 10 hours into it, and then I realized that it's not for me, and I gave up. So,
Interesting.
so
Yeah.
that's how I feel about the series. Is I just feel like, Yakuza like a Dragon as a series just isn't really for me. It's not really my thing. Like, I understand why people like it.
Yeah.
I understand like the wild and crazy humor, but also like the super serious kind of like melodrama stuff. But like, it's just too wordy for me, and I can't get into it because like the
It is
combat,
pretty wordy for sure. Yeah.
the combat for Like a Dragon, I really enjoyed. Like, I loved the turn-based combat, but man, just the stuff you have to sit through to get there is just like, it was tough. Like, I was falling asleep at certain
Yeah.
points.
Yeah. It was a lot of dialogue for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah, I enjoyed my time with Like a Dragon. I feel like I made the mistake myself of like dropping it and not going back to it. So I think it's just more of I just I just wanted to play other games, I guess, and just it's just hard, keeping up with everything. So
Yeah.
um it's I don't know if Infinite Wealth is the good starting point.
Oh, well, I'm going to answer
Um
that, Garrett.
okay, sure, go for it.
I'm going to tell you in the audience what what the biggest Like a Dragon thing that I know in real life. Matt Sawinski told me about this
Oh yeah.
when asking about this. So, from the words of Matt Sawinski, you can start with like Yakuza Like a Dragon. That's a really good starting point because it's basically like a hard reset.
Yeah. Yeah.
And there will be certain things in Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth that that will just go over your head, like the Kiryu stuff, because you haven't played the old games. You're just not going to understand that stuff. But apparently it does a good enough job of recounting what you need to know that Like a Dragon Infinite Wealth is still enjoyable, but that's prefacing that you've played Yakuza Like a Dragon. So you should
Okay.
play that first, Nagachaka.
Yeah, and Like a Dragon's a fun game, and I think that's a good starting point. I think it's on Game Pass. And I think it's still
Yeah, I think it's still Game Pass. Yeah.
Yeah. It got out of it and it came back. So try it out on Game Pass. Or you can get the game
It's also
for
on
12
PlayStation
bucks.
Plus.
Yeah, it's on PlayStation Plus as well. It's a good game. And just try it out. Just try out that game because Infinite Wealth is not going anywhere.
No, and you should absolutely, like, Infinite Wealth is very much a sequel to
It
Yakuza
is.
Like a Dragon. So you should definitely play Yakuza Like a Dragon first. It's just like all those people out there, Garrett, who keep saying, "Oh, I'm just gonna jump into Final Fantasy 7 Rebirth and not play 7 Remake," and I'm just like,
See,
what is
yeah,
wrong with you
that's
people?
and even when I'm hearing more and more, you should really play the OG Final Fantasy 7
Yeah.
first than anything else. And I understand. Like I was like, okay, I understand why you need to play in this order, and that's okay. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to take the time to do that and not play Rebirth day one. Yeah, it's just hard with these games sometimes, man. It's just like I know you want to get into the hype. I know I know the FOMO. I know it's real. And when I see Infinite Wealth come out, it's like, oh yeah, it's like a 94 or 95 or whatever on Metacritic. It's just like, man, I wish I had enough time to like invest myself into all these other games. But it's just, time is the most valuable resource. So play what you want, have fun with it. And you can take our suggestions, but also just have fun.
We're also not the Yakuza people either. So it's just like
Yeah.
that plays into a little bit too. We're like, neither of us are like super fans of the series or anything. But,
Yeah.
Anyways, Garrett, it's time to thank all of our patrons over patreon.com/carpoolgaming, starting with our ultimate producers, Tony Baker from the Quest for Pixels podcast. You can check them out over at youtube.com/quest4pixels today. That's the number 4, not 4 spelled out. We got Jonathan Brown, the man behind the music on the Xbox Drive and the PlayStation Drive. You can check out all of his music in the link tree, linktr.ee/pme/JIB. Or you can click the link in the description of this video. Lee Navarro, the Phoenix leader of the Phoenix Overdrive Extra Life team. You can check them out over at phoenixoverdrive.com or join the Extra Life page. Join the Extra Life team over at Phoenix Overdrive as well. And we'll hopefully see y'all in Rome, New York, or wherever in New York in November. And Cwagmire, who humbly reminds you that the best babes are, in fact, Xenobabes, as well as our gold members, Adam K., Anna, Awesome Dave 1337, BobLoblaw, Bowsah, Brad Moore, Brian Reese, Cecily Carrozza, CrocoKyle, Dan and Luma, Dannohh, Emily O'Kelly, Jan32, Marcus O'Neill, Peje EP, and Tim Aulph. Huge thank you to all of our friends over at patreon.com/carpoolgaming. And of course, if you want to hop in the car with us, head on over there and choose the tier that's right for you. But of course, Rybo's just got to come in here and say, are you super fans of the Squaresoft mega hit? There is Stay Life.
That game needs to just die on the vine. Just not like, let's forget it. Let's purposely forget it.
Anyways, Garrett, where can people find you on the internet?
You can follow me at Twitter/X at Blaine Explosion, and you can talk to me on the Discord or whatever. But I just want to say tomorrow, Pokemon Day, February 27th, 9 a.m. Eastern, 6 a.m. Pacific time, of course.
Yeah.
Super early. So we'll see if I'll probably just wake up and just watch it.
I was just saying, you're gonna hop on a live stream at 6 a.m. your time?
I can't wait for a new Pokemon version that's gonna run like garbage.
If the Switch 2 ain't out this year, there's a new Pokemon game this year, Garrett.
There's definitely a new Pokemon game out this year. That's how this machine rolls, man. It's just it doesn't go anywhere.
Good God.
Yeah.
As for me, you can find me on the old Twitter, aka X, at Ryan Turford. You also find us on Twitter at X at Carpool Gaming. You also find us right here, youtube.com/Carpool Gaming. Of course, podcast services around the globe. So for Garrett Bland, I'm Ryan Turford. This has been the 126th. And I muted my mic and now we're out.
Bye-bye.